Welcome back to an amazing episode of the third Shield Pokemon Go PvP podcast. Guys, in this episode, I have the one and only BHAZ, and he is an amazing battler, and he is also a team member of Team Invent, and they are an amazing battlers. A group of amazing battlers who also go live on Twitch, and it's one of the most entertaining things to watch, especially when it's a new season. But here's the thing, so BHAZ is an amazing player, and you might have seen him because PDS Chief 2, who is an amazing content creator, shares his videos all the time, and this season he shared a video when he was one of the first ones to use Obstagoon in Ultra League, and he just destroyed everyone. And I saw that video, and while I was watching that video, I knew I have to have him on the podcast, and I also built my own Obstagoon. As soon as I saw it, like in the first minute of the video, I was like, I need an Obstagoon. I built it, and I actually gained 300 points thanks to him. So I am super excited to pick his brain and share his knowledge with you guys. So stay tuned and let's get going. Thank you so much, BHAZ, to coming on the podcast. I heard so much about you from Lyndon, from SPDS Chief, and I've been seeing all your shares on Twitter, and I couldn't wait to have you on the podcast.
Thanks. It's an honor to be on this podcast. I've watched several of them, and I enjoyed them a lot. So it's an honor to be on here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It really means a lot because you are one of the most respected players, you know, that I now have it on the podcast. And what I wanted to ask you is that how and when did you get started with Pokemon Go?
Well, I guess you can say it originally started with the original Pokemon trading cards and watching the show back when I was in 5th grade. I got the Game Boy Blue version, and I played that a lot. I played it so much that my parents had to take it away and make me go play outside. So that's how my enthusiasm for Pokemon started. But sorry, I'm gonna have to cut that. But for Pokemon Go, it started when my cousin told me to download the app. The first day I saw everyone going crazy. I was a little busy working, but the next following day, on day 2, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna check this out. It's really blowing up, and I just found it awesome. You know, traveling around to like all these hot spots people were telling me about, and going out with friends. Like everyone was playing. It was nuts. So I just fell in love after that and became a hardcore player.
And so basically you also watched the cartoon back in the day, right?
I did. Yep.
So the reason why I'm asking is because I ask this everyone, and because I feel this way. I watched it growing up as well, and with this app, you know, Pokemon Go out there, it almost feels like that you literally getting up, you train, you battle, you collect. It's almost like you're living the actual cartoon today.
It really is. It's kind of crazy.
And then what I wanted to ask you is that, so Pokemon Go started, right? And then there was no site of PvP. But then eventually, I guess the invites only with best friends or something like that, PvP started with Silph, right? Is that how it started?
It was, yeah, Ultra Friends you could send battles to. That's how it originally started. Either you had to be Ultra Friends or be physically right next to them.
So that, and there goes Silph. Did you start in season 1 of Silph?
I did, yep. Even before Silph season 1, I was battling every day. You know, trying out the different leagues, battling people like King, my girlfriend, just all the locals that were into it, you know, just battling as much as I could.
That's awesome. And then right before battling started, did your Pikachu obsession with Pokemon Go started before the battles, or it started just recently when they released all these new ones?
So it started before PvP. I wanted to be #1 in the world for at least one medal, so I found that I was pretty high ranked with Pikachu, so I just decided to stick with that and go hardcore with it, you know.
So where you are right now with it?
Right now I'm at like 32,000 Pikachu medal. When PvP was released, I kind of transitioned all my time from hardcore Pikachu collecting and trading to hardcore battling in PvP.
And in PvP, so because obviously you are a really good player and you are part of a big team that has really good players as well, I just wanted to ask you, like, how would like your regular day go? You go every day, you do all your sets, and then you also practice, or like just walk us through a little bit that how you actually stay on top, because you are one of the best players that I met.
Oh, thanks. It's really just battling as much as I can, you know, finding a lot of good players that I can learn things from and picking their brain and like trying to see like develop new strategies, and it's really just about the time I put into it probably.
And as far as for Stardust, what I want to ask is because that's one of the resources that everybody is like, yeah, we need more of that. So how are you doing on that? And then do you have like, let's say, not a secret resource, but like almost like a daily grind for Stardust, or what, like any secret that could help the listeners to able to basically, I guess I should say, participate not only Silph, but Go Battle League, because it could be really expensive.
Right. Well, before Go Battle League, I used to just catch as much as I could, you know, have the app open whenever I could, hatch as many eggs as I could, and be conservative with how I spent my Stardust. Luckily, I was anticipating PvP and tried to save some Stardust for that. So I have a floor of 10 million Stardust. I try not to drop below that. That'll ensure that I always have enough dust for whatever I need to power up. But now it's probably, I'd say most of where I get my dust from is GBL, to tell you the truth now. You know, if you drop a star piece after you have a good set and use a pass and then do another set right immediately after that, you can get some pretty good dust. And at least like 60K a day, you know, something like that.
No, that's correct. That's literally my tactic too. When I feel like I'm on fire, I'm dropping the battle passes and the star pieces, and I try to get the 2 sets with 1 star piece. That's been working really great. And I think you just ruined my day by saying 10 million Stardust, your minimum, because I did a podcast with FP Sticks, and he was the one who first changed my mind on this, because he said his minimum at that point was like 2 million. If he's at like 2 million, that's like so low, super low. And I was like, I had like 100,000 at that point, and I was like, wow, I have to change my mindset. So now my new low is 2 million, but now you just raised it to 10 million. So thanks for that. And
yeah, luckily I had a lot going into PvP. I had close to 20 million Stardust in the beginning, and that dropped in half. So it's definitely like tough to stay positive with PvP nowadays.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you how expensive, you know, PvP is. Just like you said. I mean, if you halved it from 20 million to 10 million, is a lot of Stardust.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would be like, let's start with the mistakes first. So what I wanted to ask you is, what would be like your #1 mistake that you have done either in PvP or in the game? Just to give you an example, in the game, my first Mewtwo that I had, I TM'd away its Side Strike for Ice Beam.
Oh man. Biggest mistakes, let's see. Probably transferring a lot of the old legacies that I didn't know would be relevant. But I don't know, I can't really say I made too many mistakes. But with PvP, there was one time in Orlando where I was 6-0 in the Mega Cup, and on the 7th match, I was on stream, and there was a lot of people watching, probably like 1,000, I think it was, and my hands were getting sweaty, and all of a sudden my screen wasn't responding to my tapping, and I ended up dropping one of the games against Valor Ash, and it cost me the match. So if I could go back, I would maybe have like a napkin or put some powder on my hand or something. Yeah, that was probably my most costly mistake.
That's so funny to hear that, because nobody would expect that, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that, like, these little things make a huge difference. And
Very true.
you know, but good point you mentioned about the mistake with the legendaries, because none of them are available or really hard to get them, you know, without trades and stuff like that. So
Yep.
what I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the current legendaries that they like releasing, like from Kirum to or Kyrum, however you say it, and you know all these legendaries? Do you think that like, do you have a rule for them, like now that you have learned from that, to like maybe save like 1 to 3 of them or something, or how do you go about it
Yeah,
now?
I actually saved like 6 of each legendary myself. I try to have one for Ultra League, one for Great League if it's eligible, and definitely keep my best IV one for Master League. But I also try to save a couple to to trade with people, you know, to swap for like lucky trades. So
Yeah, that's a good point. So I already made a mental note to save 6, just like you just said. And you know what would be like this season? So let's start with Go Battle League, just because we're almost at the end of the season. So firstly, how you did in it, how do you feel about it, and what was your biggest accomplishment during this season?
this season, um, it's I feel like I did slightly better in preseason and season one. To be honest, right now I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm hoping to catch a groove soon. It's supposed to go back to all 3 leagues shortly, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm looking forward to just killing it in Great League because that's my favorite league. But
Oh, I feel you on that one.
my,
Can't
my
wait.
my biggest accomplishment probably this season is making some decent jumps with Obstagoon when it was first released. That was fun. Like a lot of people didn't know what to expect and didn't realize how much it walled Garatina Origin and stuff like that. That was probably my highlight of the season.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, by the way, that video, that time I didn't even finish the video. While I was watching it, still I was maxing out. I'm not maxing out. Adding a second move for my Obstagoon and setting up the basically the same thing you used, and that team got me like 300 points. So thanks for that. That's
Oh,
all you.
no problem.
Yeah,
Glad I could
and
help.
that was awesome. But now everybody expects it, so I hope they keep releasing Pokemon, you know, each season, and there will be something unexpected, just like that. And I will be watching out for your video. And now, for as far as for Silp Arena, so how are you doing this season, and what would be like your biggest accomplishment in Silp?
All right, so this season I made it to elite. I think I'm in the top 300 somewhere. I haven't weighted a cup this month yet, but my biggest accomplishments this season was 2 of the mega cups that I traveled to. I finished top 3. The one in Virginia, I came in second, and then Orlando, I placed third. So that was really nice. It made the trips worth it, you know.
That's awesome, and congratulations on that, by the way. And
Thank
you know what? Do you battle a lot against Linden and Speedy?
you. I do. I battle more against Lyndon because he's on the team I'm on, and we constantly are doing practice matches and testing out teams and different strategies. Um, their team events probably definitely my main practice partners, and we try to battle daily. You know, get as many in as we can.
And you guys also go live, right? So when do you usually go live? Do you have a schedule yet, or no?
We have a loose schedule. We try to aim for Mondays and Thursdays, around like 7:30, 8 p.m. Eastern. Uh, it's been fun so far. You know, we've been trying to work on some new things to add to the stream to get people more engaged and excited to watch us stream. Like for example, the wheel we introduced during Great League. We had a wheel that you could spin, like a Wheel of Fortune, and whatever it landed on, you had to use that team for your last battle of the set. So we had different fun things like only shinies, only legendaries, using auto rec team. But there was also some good options like using a Caleb Pang team or a BBML team. So that's really what our goal is, to try and get people more engaged and to tune in, you know.
Well, that's fun, because when you guys first went live, it was lots of fun. It was, I think, the beginning of the season, and I shared it to some of the people, texted out right away when you guys went live, and those people actually tuned in. And the number one question, 3 people that I sent it to, they all asked me the same thing. What the hell is this? How come I never knew about this? This really exist? And then they were constantly messaging me during your stream that this is so much fun and it's so entertaining. So that's really cool to hear, you know, and it was entertaining, especially at the beginning of the season, because you don't know what to expect, you know, against the opponents.
True.
And as far as for Go Battle League, and then we go into Silph in a second, but what I wanted to ask you is, what would be like, let's say, your number one tactic from, it could be like using just a single team for like, let's say, one day for like all the sets, or you change it up, or do you have like any like, I guess like adjustments to make when, let's say, you're in a losing streak or winning streak, or anything like that, just like a strategy that's been helping you a lot in Go Battle League?
Well, I like to stay with the same team as much as I can to just learn it inside and out and be consistent. And as long as it's a good solid team that doesn't get broken by any new Pokemon added or something like that, it's really just the more consistently you play with one team, I feel that you can just learn it inside and out, and you can review your mistakes, see how you lost certain battles, if there's anything you could do different. You know, I also like to surprise people with new Pokemon that that they're not expecting or don't know how to handle. Like, for example, Obstagoon. I'm also looking forward to some play with Gengar coming up after this community day. So I think that'll be fun to use.
Speaking of Gengar, which is about to start actually, so the question with the Gengar, what would be like your number one that you're looking for today to catch as far as a Gengar?
I think it has play in all 3 leagues, to be honest, and probably the most play in the Premier Cup. It's pretty interesting. You know, it beats Togekiss, Metagross, Machamp, Gyarados, and I think it's gonna change things a lot. You know, in Great League, it's okay, and it beats Azu, it beats things like AWAC, Skarmory, you know, stuff you see quite commonly. In Ultra League, it's actually going to have a fair amount of play also because of how popular Cresselia is, and it's a hard counter. So that'll be interesting once Ultra League comes back around to see how that influences the meta. But Master League, it's also good. It's not going to, like, the Community Day move that it gets isn't going to be great for raids or gym battles, but I think it'll help Gengar a lot for PvP.
And do you think the reason why Pokemon have been releasing so much Pokemons on community days for PvP, just like even Beedrill, you know, before,
Yeah.
and all these Pokemons, because they are also trying to push PvP, and maybe, and that's all I ask everybody these questions, do you think there is a chance that Pokemon Go eventually go to esports?
Well, I'm hopeful for that. It's really dependent on Niantic, you know, if they can fix all the bugs and make it more consistent. You know, like recently there's the fast move desyncing where people get in extra fast move and stuff like that. I think once they work out all the kinks, I think the player base is there. You know, there's an appetite for it, and people like to watch it on Twitch and stuff. And it's really up to Niantic. I'm hopeful. I would like to see it go there. You know.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm trying to ask everyone out there. So hopefully they pick on it and it gets into the search engines and everything. But you know what I wanted? If you think about it with Fortnite, because if you just Google up how many players play Fortnite and then how many players play Pokemon Go, you're gonna be, if you're a Fortnite player, you will be disappointed that it's this much more Pokemon Go players than Fortnite players. So it's just crazy to me. So yes, just like you said, it's really, the ball is in their court. They just have to figure it out and make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know what I wanted to ask you, so do you think that Gengar is going to, I think you already said it, yes, but completely take out or reshape the Ultra League once it goes in there?
I think it will affect it pretty substantially. You know, just because of Cresselia. You know, it's so dominant right now, and it could make Obstagoon even better though. So I think there's definitely going to be some changes in the meta, and it could even pull off a win in the one shield against Registeel. So that's good, you know.
Yeah, now I'm more excited about Ultra League than ever before because Obstagoon is one of my favorite, Berserker, and Gengar. So those are like the three things that I like to cycle around. So now I cannot wait to test it. What would be like, let's say, for Silph? What I wanted to ask you is that in Silph Arena, so you can bring, if people who are listening don't know what Silph is, you can bring basically 6 Pokemon. It's almost like open face poker game or something when you can see each other's cards, but you still have to figure out what you use. So the question is, what would be like your tactic to bring in 6? When you bring 6, do you have like a set of team in that 6? Or you kind of like have it like free for all in a way that you can just put it together from the 6? Does that make sense? Like some people come with like, I have a set of team. Yeah,
I think there's definitely different ways to go about it. Like in Ferocious Cup, I kind of had Alolan Sandslash on my bench just for the bench pressure to keep away things like Nidoqueen and Nidoking, to make it so like my Charmer Ninetales could like go to work, you know. But there's also different like team building strategies where you use all 6 of your Pokemon, and it really depends on your opponent's team. Like a lot of cups, having a safe swap is important.
I agree totally with you, and I have met so many people who told me that when they go into basically Silph, they 2 ways. Like one is that I have like a set of teams, and no matter what, I'm just gonna stick with that unless the opponent has a really pressuring that just destroys, you know, my line. But they practice me just the 3 lineup, and they just try to master that 3, just like in Go Battle League.
Yeah,
but I don't know how good or bad that is because I don't have as much experience in Silph.
that can be effective. You know, if there's 3 Pokemon that you're very comfortable with, and it's a team you want to consistently run, you can definitely choose your other 3 Pokemon to kind of scare off the counters for those 3. That's definitely an effective strategy, for sure.
As far as for let's say your daily grind, so we talked about it a minute. So you do have like, do you have like, let's say in the mornings you do your battles, in the afternoon you go out and catch Pokemon, or do you have like a set of schedule, or it's just like as how you feel about the day?
Well, I usually work in the morning during the day, so right after I get out of work, I try to do my battles if I'm not streaming. And, you know, I recently bought a gacha. I never had one, but now I just keep that running, and luckily have a Pokestop at home, so I can just keep it rolling. You know, I don't do too much grinding these days. I used to a lot. I used to spend 8 hours a day on the weekends and after work just catching Pokemon nonstop. But recently, it's more just PvP. You know, dust isn't really a concern. It's staying pretty stable, so I can just put more time into battles.
That's gacha makes a huge difference, by the way. That just having it running every day, that's at least 10 grand Stardust without doing anything.
Yeah, I used to hand catch everything, but
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. And you know, with the well, you stream. I saw last night you stream. I jumped in for a second when I saw that it popped up as my notification. So where could people find you your live stream?
You can go to Twitch, BHAZ401 on Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter under BHAZ401, and you can also catch me on my team's Twitch, which is Team Invent, ENVENT. We stream twice a week, like I was saying, and that's probably the best place to find me.
And as far as for your goals for next season, from Go Battle League to all the way to Silph, because Silph season is over now, right, basically? So what would be your goal that you're looking for the next season?
To be number one, it's always the goal, I think, for most battlers, just to be the best you can, try to help build your community. I like to do all the local tournaments and try and get people interested in playing as much as they can, and just practicing as much as I can and battling with as many people as I can and trying to be number one. That's what it's all about. Be the best there ever was.
No, that's perfect. Lastly, what I wanted to ask you too is that what would be like your number one recommendation to a new player who just starts out? Because it could be very, very annoying right now to go into Go Battle League, and that's why all the sayings out there on the internet is like, oh, everybody cheats, they're using a third shield, they're doing this, they're doing that, but that's because they don't know as much as, let's say, you know. So the question would be, how could we come down to earth and basically tell them that if you're new, just like to me, because when I started, I was freaking out that, oh man, this is impossible. So what would be let's say a good advice how to get started that would make it more friendly to them? Because I met so many people in the, say on a community day when I go and they talk about PvP, and all I hear is that they're saying that, oh, it's stupid, don't play PvP, everybody cheats, there's just no point playing. So my goal is with the podcast is basically to make it more friendly to these people, to get it introduced. So what do you think? What would be how could you have somebody who have never done PvP?
I wouldn't worry too much about the exploits. Niantic has shown that they're trying to handle all those one at a time as they pop up. Of course, there's a little bit of that in GBL, but I feel like it's on the decline, and if you're really worried about that, battle people that are your friends that aren't cheating. Battle Silph. They have strict rules, that they have staff that can review games if there's any questions, stuff like that. I wouldn't worry about that. I would stay focused on just learning the mechanics and team building, and how to play fairly, and you can have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, and then the way I learn too is basically just like what you mentioned, and then also just watching basically the content creators and watch your videos. I learned so much from that, honestly. When the Obstagoon video went up, I was like, all right, so this is how you play.
Yeah, Speedy is awesome. Definitely check out his content. He had a huge win yesterday in the U.S. Continentals. Man, he's stepped up his game tremendously. I would definitely check him out. You can learn a lot. People like King, Zionic, they all have quality things that you can learn, and that's really the number one way to improve is just watch battlers that are good, that have practiced a lot, fiddle around PV Poke, do some simulations, learn the team building and rankings. Just find some partners and some practice opponents that also are looking to improve, and just practice.
Yeah, very well said. I agree. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we wrap up it here?
I'd just say thanks for having me on. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm hoping to see your channel grow, because you've had some amazing people on and good battlers that you can learn a lot from. So keep it up, and thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you loved this episode. If you loved it, please give us a like, please give us a comment, please subscribe, and don't forget that every time you do that, you enter to our raffle. So each week we are giving out gifts. Last week we gave out 21 gifts, 12 GoFest tickets, and 8 shirts like this, swags, all the swags that we have. Look at this. So if you want one of these, all you need to do is comment, like, share, and you can get any of these items, and every single week there is a draw. So you never know when you win. So all you need to do to enter is share or retweet on Twitter, comment here, like, subscribe, But if you just comment and like, you're already entering, and that's the easiest thing to do, and it really helps our channel to grow. And if you wanted to see it to grow, then just help us out, and we help you out as well. You might just win. Thank you guys for watching. See you till the next time.